In 2001, author Jim Collins profiled Circuit City in his study Good to Great. For the 15-year period ending in 1995, it was the top-performing company on the Fortune 500, success that preceded its slide into total liquidation. This growth was most visible during the 1980s, when the company's stock value multiplied 80 times over. To the investors on this floor, the company represented the most efficient model in retail. Following a successful IPO in 1984, the firm expanded rapidly across the country. By 1987, it became the first specialty electronics retailer to cross the $1 billion sales threshold. That position was built on a highly disciplined approach to inventory and service. They established a structural dominance that redefined how consumer technology reached the American public. The Superstore format provided the structural basis for this expansion. These massive layouts allowed for unprecedented inventory depth, supported by a centralized distribution system that ensured products moved efficiently to the sales floor. Beyond the physical scale of the stores, the company's primary competitive advantage was its workforce, a specialized, commissioned sales force trained to handle high-value transactions. During this era, consumer technology like the VCR was a significant, complex investment. Customers visited Circuit City because they required the guidance of a commissioned expert who could explain the mechanics and value of these high-ticket items. The financial results of this focus were clear. Total sales climbed year after year, reaching $10.8 billion in 1999. By the late 1990s, the company held a nationwide footprint and a massive revenue stream, seemingly insulated from local rivals by its combination of scale and specialized service. The first indicators of failure appeared in the boardroom. In 1988, leadership had the opportunity to acquire primary rival Best Buy for $30 million. They declined, choosing to compete with a company they believed they could easily outperform. In 1999, the company invested over $200 million into DIVs, a proprietary disposable DVD format. Consumers rejected the pay-per-view model for physical discs, resulting in a $114 million write-off. In 2000, CEO Alan McCullough decided to abandon the large appliance market entirely. Circuit City stopped selling the refrigerators and ranges seen here, walking away from a category that formed its core identity since the 1950s. This decision removed $1.6 billion in annual revenue, just as the American housing boom began. Exiting the market surrendered a massive customer base to competitors like Best Buy and Home Depot. Consumer behavior shifts were secondary to management's direct removal of the company's most reliable revenue streams. To compensate for declining margins, leadership targeted its payroll. In February 2003, they fired 3,900 commissioned salespeople to save $130 million in annual costs. In March 2007, they fired an additional 3,400 veterans. These experienced employees were terminated specifically because their hourly pay was at least 51 cents above the market rate, a move that prioritized a minuscule wage saving over the massive sales volume those employees generated. While thousands of productive employees were dismissed to save 51 cents an hour, CEO Philip Schoonover, seen here, received $8.52 million in total compensation that same year. The results were immediate. Without its most knowledgeable staff, customer service quality failed, and same-store sales dropped 12%. Management prioritized payroll reductions on the balance sheet, but the resulting loss of expertise effectively ended the customer experience that had built the brand. Between 2003 and 2007, the company still possessed significant cash reserves from its divestment of CarMax and its credit card business. However, capital was not used to modernize stores or build e-commerce systems to compete with Amazon. Instead, leadership spent nearly $1 billion on share buybacks at an average price of $20 per share. While cash was spent on the stock price, physical stores decayed. The company became tied to 1.2 million square feet of underutilized suburban space. These locations were poorly situated to compete with the bright, modern showrooms and urban accessibility of their rivals. The share buybacks provided a financial distraction, but they did not address the fundamental decline in the retail infrastructure. By late 2008, the financial mask could no longer be maintained. As the digital ticker shows, the stock price plunged to just $5 a share as the company's internal failures became public knowledge. Vendors rapidly withdrew support. This ledger shows $118 million owed to Hewlett-Packard and $116 million to Samsung, against a flatlined cash reserve. When Sony added a final $60 million to the deficit, the supply lines were completely severed. Circuit City filed for bankruptcy on November 10, 2008. By March, all 567 stores were liquidated, leaving 30,000 people out of work. External competitors like Amazon didn't cause the collapse alone. The internal failure of retail fundamentals and a focus on financial engineering compromised its stability. Leadership dismantled the very qualities that had once made the company great.